SpectreVision Radio.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to A Funny Feeling Podcast. I'm Betsy Sidaro.
And I'm Marcy Jarrow. This is a podcast where comedians tell us their paranormal experiences, and we listen to yours as well.
Oh, yeah. And if you have one of these paranormal experiences that you want to share with us, please email it to us at funnyfeelingpod@gmail.com.
Now get cozy.
And prepare yourself to be scared silly.
This is a Funny Feeling Podcast. Ooh.
I like how we started just making ghost noises.
Oh, well,
Ooh.
what is it? Halfway? We're at the halfway point, right? Or close to. We're close to halfway. Yeah.
I
noticed
we are.
I was at the Subaru dealership in Glendale. Spooky. And I was watching, waiting on a service, and I was watching the TV, and Home Depot has so many of those giant, Halloween lawn creatures.
Somebody just posted, our friend Matt just posted
Yes.
that they've got the T-Rex now. A
Yes.
T-Rex skeleton that's like 12 feet
Yes.
tall.
I mean, I think Matt stole all this from me because I was the one. I was talking about it before everyone. I was talking about it when it was on the news. I was the one who broke the news that it was on the news.
Wow.
Oh, me? I thought of it first because I saw it on a television that everyone sees. So it was
That
me.
everybody's watching.
This is an original. Isn't it funny that we do that? We're like, I saw it first. You're like, if you saw it, it's because someone made it, and a lot of people saw it.
A lot of people saw it.
It's a lot of people.
Especially
Anyway,
the world of internet. It's like everybody's seeing it.
and when they're so tall,
So
they're
tall.
a 6 foot tall skeleton, or what is it? They're bigger than
12
that,
feet?
right?
They're huge. I think
Yes.
they're like 12 feet tall or something. They're great.
Too tall.
Too
Anyway.
tall. Too tall.
Too tall. Anyway, so all to say is that it's coming around.
Yes.
Anything
Yes.
spooky going on with you, Betsy?
Oh my God. I went to Jerome with my dad.
Honestly, Betsy, the way time passes, I could have thought that was a year ago now.
It feels like it, right? It was like 2
Oh my
days
God.
ago.
Yes. So did you guys love it so much? I know we texted a bit about it, but
Yes,
tell
I sent
us.
you some pictures and stuff. It was really fun and cute and like a wild town in many respects, but especially like it is up on a mountainside.
Yeah.
Like, because like
In
in
the
Colorado,
middle of
it's a
the
lot of
desert.
like
Yeah.
in the mountain towns, but you like go into the mountains. This is like on the side of a mountain. And like they put the hospital up as high as possible. And it's just like, how is that? Which is now the Grand Hotel. And it's
Yes.
just like, it's such a weird, funny little place. But I texted you and I told you everybody we met was so nice and love living there.
They love
Every
being
single person
friends
was
of
just
ghosts.
like, I love it here so much. It's such a special place. And it's like, that is awesome.
The wickedest town in the West is one of the happiest places on earth.
Yeah. It was really cool. We had lunch at the Grand Hotel at the Asylum restaurant. And we went into the lobby, which is where the ambulances used to go to.
Oh, like the ambulance bay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we made this the lobby because it's more ADA
compliant. Yeah.
compliant. And so it's kind of smaller. And we talked to the woman at the front desk and I was like, so does like stuff happen to you all the time? And she's like, all the time. She's like, I mean, it's a hospital. She's like, it's a hospital, of course. But she didn't really want to expand, but she was like, there's like a bell a beautiful old-looking bell, and my dad's like, "Whoa, look at this. This is so beautiful and old." And she's like, "Actually, I got it on Amazon." Like, but she was like, "But the spirits move it constantly." She's like, "I
Oh.
will leave and come back, and it's completely in a different spot and stuff." But she didn't seem like she really wanted to go much more into it. But she
She's
was
like,
like, "Oh,
"I'm in."
every single day something happens."
Yeah, she's like, "I'm in the middle. I don't wanna talk about work while I'm at
Yes.
work. Come
Yeah,
on."
yeah, yep. But it was really cool. It was really fun.
It's funny because 'cause I'm, like, thinking of it now, I'm like, I don't remember seeing, like, a neighborhood where people lived, but they have to live
I
there.
mean,
So
they're
they're
just houses all just along the hill. Like, they're all
yeah,
just kind of built into the hill, and the main street, there it kinda just zigzags where all the shops are and the restaurants and stuff. It's all just kind of in the mountain. It's really an
yeah,
interesting place.
yeah. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
so
it was
glad you got to
cool. And it
go.
was a really beautiful drive from Phoenix to, Jerome. And we
Someone
listened to a
knock
podcast about the Grand Hotel on the way there.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, was someone just knocking over there? I could have sworn I
Oh,
heard.
so you can hear it. No, they're
Oh,
fixing a roof.
okay.
They're
That's alright.
fixing the, like, next door garage roof. It's
Look,
hey, it's better sounding than it was last week. Shit was,
let's
like,
just
falling from our ceilings and stuff.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Clack,
You
clack,
hearing
clack, clack,
that?
clack.
Boom,
No,
boom,
now
boom,
that we
boom.
know, it's good to, like, point it out so we know, and
Yes.
also, there's 2 fat cats having a fight, like,
See,
I
I
could
can't
touch
hear
I'm touch
that.
well, if you see my camera shaking, guys, that's what it is. It's the fattest cats fighting.
Yeah, we got
They
roofs being fixed and cats fighting.
It's like
Perfect.
they sleep until I start podcasting. I guess it's because 'cause I'm talking all of a sudden, and I
Yes.
live alone, so they're like,
Yeah.
"We're aggravated.
Where they're
We
like,
don't."
"Uh-oh, she's lost her mind again. Better start fighting."
They're like, "What? Who's gonna eat her first?" That's what they're fighting over, is who
Yeah,
gets the
I
first bite.
I get her eyes. I get her tongue. Yeah.
Uh, the tongue would be hard. Well, unless you're
Ugh.
gonna sauté it first, cats.
Ew.
May I plug? I don't have anything
Oh,
spooky, but I
yes!
wanna plug Kevin,
Yes.
the animated series that I worked on. I wrote on it. It's up out now on Amazon. It is
Woo!
such a fun show, I believe. It's starring Jason Schwartzman, Aubrey Plaza. We have friends of the pod, Mike Mitchell. It's
Yes.
created by Aubrey and Joe Wangert, and maybe someone who lived in a haunted apartment that we talk about a
Oh,
lot. I'm not gonna blow up his
yes.
spot. Let's see who else. We got John Waters, Whoopi Goldberg, Amy Sedaris,
Stacked.
Jim O'Hare, Gil Ozeri. God, I know I'm
Awesome.
forgetting Ben Rogers. There's so many funny, great people in it. And honestly, there's not enough though. So many and also not enough. We need so many more. And I hope
Gotta make more
I
episodes, so everybody watch it, so
please
more
go
episodes can be
stream
made.
it. There's 8 episodes out. Just keep streaming it, guys. Just keep streaming
Yes!
it. You can walk away and stream it, but help your girl get a job. We
Come
got to bring her back.
on.
Bring it back, Kevin. It's
Bring
very
it
sweet.
back.
It's a very sweet show, so I'm excited.
Yes, that's so exciting.
So all right, that's all I have to plug. And I thought it might be fun for us today
Yes.
because we don't always get to our longer stories
Right,
when they come in the form of a voice message, just because,
right.
we can read for a long time because we can break it up and chit chat, but sometimes the longer ones are harder to get to. So, but we don't want to not get to them. So we're
Gotta
going
get
to
to
play
them.
some of our longer ones today. And hey, this is just always a call out to say, you got it. Send in your stories to funnyfeelingpod@gmail.com. You can,
Yes.
like I said, we're always taking voice memos. You could even just type up emails to whatever you guys want. No signs of stopping yet. So we
No.
always will need more. Um,
Yes.
so all right, let's see. I don't know how to turn it off now. How do I turn off this
Uh-oh.
send your stories to funny? There we go.
There it
I did it. I
is.
did it. Okay. So I shall just begin if you feel
Yes.
ready.
I'm
Okay.
stoked. I'm ready.
And also, if you have you want me to interject, we can always pause and then
Okay.
pick up. So that's
Okay.
I'm learning how to use technology.
We're
All
doing
right,
it.
doing
Okay.
it. Here we go. I mean, in moments. There we go.
There it is.
Hi, Betsy, Marcy, and guest. My name's Jessica. I've been a listener for a few years now. I just want to say thank you for doing all of this, especially like you guys don't have a Patreon or anything, so I know you're doing it for the love of the game. If you do have one, I will support it. But I just wanted to let you know you got me through a lot of the pandemic and some pretty bad depression that I was going through in the middle of that. I listened to you guys so much that I'll never forget one time I fell asleep on the couch watching TV in like the middle of the day because of depression. And I woke up, but I didn't open my eyes. And I'm like, that's weird. I thought I was watching TV. I didn't think I was listening to my podcast because I could hear Betsy.
Yeah.
You're
And
everywhere.
I opened my eyes, and it was what is now my favorite episode of Bob's Burgers, where Betsy plays a crossing guard who is also a witch, and
Yes.
Tina tries to be a witch and uncurse herself. And it's just my favorite, and it's such a delight. So thank you also for making that, Betsy.
Hey. A dream come true.
So anyway, my story, I'll try to be quick now, has to do with around the same time period. I lived alone. It was COVID. I was very lonely. My sleep was upside down.
Yeah.
I was up until like 5 a.m. a lot of days because I was never leaving my little studio apartment. It was just me and my cat. So one night, it was late, but not super late. It was probably like 11, 12 o'clock. I had just closed my front door. My apartment building was really weird. There was AC in the hallways, but not in the apartments. So everyone propped their door open all day.
Whoa. Weird.
So I had closed it because I was getting up and starting to clean up the kitchen, and I was playing with my cat, and it was just later at night, or I was like not comfortable leaving it open. So I'm playing with my cat with one of his wands, and we're like running back and forth. And we run into my kitchen, which is like the middle of the apartment. And he jumps up on the counter and he stops. And he looks at the front door. And he's not looking back at me. He's just looking. And so I stop and I look and I see a shadow.
Ooh.
And I think, okay, you're just scaring yourself because you listen to creepy podcasts all day long. Just move around and then you'll know it's your shadow. So I like bob my head around, I step back and forth, and it doesn't move. It's not my shadow.
What?
So I'm like, uh-oh, okay,
Uh-oh.
now what? And because I was listening to so many ghosty podcasts, I had thought about it a little bit. Because when I was a little kid, my mom said I used to talk to my grandma, my dead grandma. So my best friend is always like, I don't know, you've got something. I'm like, because I feel people looking at me sometimes, and it's always associated with like a direction. Like if I'm in a coffee shop and I feel like someone's looking at me, if I turn around, I will probably make eye contact with the person. I'm not like looking around for them.
Whoa.
And sometimes I have that feeling, but like there's no one visible in the room.
Yeah.
So she'll ask me sometimes, like, do you think my parents' house is haunted? And I'm like, it's definitely not bad, but sometimes I feel a little bit like somebody's there, but it doesn't feel like scary. I don't know. And so she's like, oh, you have something. So now I'm standing in my apartment looking at this shadow that's not mine. And I'm like, okay, why don't I just relax? and see what happens. Try to relax and just look at this. So I start breathing kind of slow. My cat's still just staring at this thing.
Whoa.
And it turns into more like TV static looking. Like not quite pixelated. It looks more like TV static. And it's becoming more and more solid looking. And then I know I didn't see it with my eyes. It was like in my mind's eye. Wow. I see a woman. She's about my size. I'm like 5'5". She's wearing like a shawl and like a long dress, or at least like some big drapey clothes. And she has long dark hair, like, I don't know, like halfway down her torso. And she has her hands clasped together in front of her. And she's like kind of smiling at me. It's not a big smile, like no teeth showing. But she just looks like pleasant. And my brain is like, oh my God, who is this woman? I feel like my brain is like flipping through a Rolodex of all the faces that I know. And I'm going, who is this woman? Who is this? Who is this person? And I'm still trying to figure out, like, who is this face? And it starts to fade away. I really only saw the full image. It was like color and everything. It didn't look like a ghost. Like, that's where I'm like, I wasn't seeing it with my eyes. I was seeing it in my mind's eye. I was still seeing static mostly. But it was like I got a flash of a woman. And then it just was a flash, maybe a second or two. And then it went away. And then the static starts to fade. It looks more like a shadow again. And then it's gone. And then my cat turns back to me and starts batting at the wand again. Like nothing happened because cats. And so I'm left being like, she looked like me. I don't know this person, but she looked like me. And so I'm thinking it must have been my grandma that my mom said I used to talk to. Because my whole life, everyone told me you're just like her, you look like her, you have the same like hobbies, you both love to read. As I got older, it was like, oh, she used to just sit at the kitchen table reading her little paperbacks with a pot of black coffee and smoking all day. I don't smoke, but I drink a lot of coffee. In hindsight, I'm like, oh, she had ADHD also, which I'm also now diagnosed with. And coffee is like the best non-prescription medication for that. And she had 5 sons that she was definitely like, I can't fucking handle this. So I'm like, this must have been my grandma. So a couple of weeks later, I go home and I ask my dad, because it's his mom.
Yes.
You know, do you remember what your mom looked like when you were younger? Because I was guessing this woman was like mid-30s, and at the time I was like 27, 28. And he was like, he just like shook his head no. And I was like, because I think I saw her. And what was very weird to me was he went, where?
Whoa.
Not, what are you talking about? Oh, God, here it comes. He said, where? And I was like, in my apartment. And I told him the story, and he just kind of nodded. And I think he said her hair was light. And I said, because I was trying to say, did she have light hair or dark hair? And he was like, no, he said dark. And I said, short hair or long? And he was like, long. But as I described it, he was kind of like, I don't know. So a couple of days later, I go to lunch with my mom and her sister. And her sister is the reason that I'm scared to go to psychics, because when she goes to like mediums, they tell her, you know, you could do this, like you have it. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. So I have not really gone to any. I've gone to like tarot readers instead. And my family's Catholic, so of course they go to a medium like once or twice a year to like talk to the dead relatives, because that's just how that goes apparently. So my aunt my mom's like, tell her the story. So I tell my aunt, and my aunt, when I get up to the part about the static, is like, her whole face lights up and she goes, yes, that's what they do. And I'm like, what? And she said, that's what I saw my uncle. Her uncle died in World War II. They were working on their house, and she was like, I came in from outside, and he was standing in the doorway to the room from like the dining room or wherever, standing in the doorway to the room she was in, like the interior door. And she said it was the same thing, where I thought it was just my eyes adjusting to the light, and I'm seeing this like static, and I'm going, no, that's shaped like a guy. And she said then it was just like just a flash. I saw a person, and it was my Uncle Gene. So she was like, I don't know if that meant he didn't like what we were doing in the house. He didn't live there, so I don't really care what he thinks. Again, why talk to the dead relatives every year if you don't care? I don't know.
Fair.
So I was left for a long time thinking, okay, I think I saw my grandma. I do have a follow-up, but this is getting long, so I'm going to break it up into a second message so that you can listen to it now or a different time. It's up to you.
Ooh.
So, Betsy, do you want to see this cat?
Yeah, of course. Oh.
Look at that cat. Look at that little,
Wow.
this little mouth. Look at its little mouth.
Little paws. What a classic cat.
That's a classic cat right there.
Cute.
That's
a little bell.
Tabby as hell. That's a tabby cat right there.
What a cutie.
Oh my God. Let's see. How did I get back into this tab?
You did it.
Or call back here. Got it. Okay.
Yes. Phew. Wow. It feels like.
Oh. You don't want to be told
so
you're medium?
Yeah.
Then stop talking to us. You're a medium.
You're medium. Yeah. You got it.
It's happening whether or not you want the diagnosis. The symptoms are there.
Yes. It also felt like, because they were saying it was during a rough time, where it feels like maybe grandma was kind of like checking in.
Yeah.
Just want to check in on you because this has been tough.
Absolutely.
And shitty.
Absolutely.
You know?
And you do hear that's sorry. I started playing again. You do hear sometimes that like when there are like mental health things going on, that sometimes there is like more opening for the other side. And I don't know why. I don't know.
Right. And being sleepy or whatever, is kind of game on for, it feels like, for spirits in the other side to be like, hey, you ready? Because you okay? We're here. Wow.
Yeah. And then seeing the static, though, that is something we've heard a few times. Well, more than a few.
Yeah, but that is so. Ooh, I don't know what I would do if I saw that.
Yeah. And it makes me think that, like, whether or not it is really static, it's like maybe the best way our brains can put together the concept of a picture forming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that could be that. Yeah.
Our first, like, some of our first images. I wonder if people younger, though,
are like, what the fuck, static?
We used to see TV static. Like, that was that was part of flipping through the channels sometimes. When you were setting your TV channels, remember setting your TV channels?
I remember setting those. Oh, so exciting.
It's do auto scan on the fancier TVs.
Yep.
But
on your 27-inch, which I was like, this is so big. All of our movie, The Fugitive on VHS is going to look so good on this.
I had a TV that is definitely smaller than my laptop. I mean, not like thinner, but like the screen was probably like a 10-inch.
I absolutely did. And it was black and white. It was awesome.
And it had a little, because I had a VHS slot too.
Yes, that's nice.
But yeah, so we used to see static, so maybe that's why we like perceive static.
Right.
But if you're a Gen Zer, What's your experience with static?
Pixelated or like just a little circle loading?
Oh my God. What if it is like a arrow loading? Oh my God. What if they get the beach ball of doom?
The beach ball of doom of like, oh no, force quit.
Force quit this ghost. Oh my God. That's so funny.
Force quit.
Oh
Come
man.
on. Wow. Are we going to listen to the next one?
We can, or we can like switch it up too.
Whatever you want to do.
Maybe we'll come back to it at the end because I have a couple that are really short too. We can kind of bip and bop around.
Let's bip and bop. Let's bip and bop. That's fun.
We don't bip and bop enough, and don't confuse it with like bim bop. But
yum.
Let's bip and bop. Okay,
it's bip and bop, but
bip and bop, Dippin' Dots, and bip and bops.
There we go.
Here we go. How about that? Do you like that segue?
Good. I like that a lot.
Okay.
Hi, Marcy and Betsy and all the funny feeling community. I want to preface this by saying absolutely fuck ice.
Woo. Yes.
My story is my friend Serene and her husband Louis. They had an uncle who died. And so they went over to the home where the services were being conducted. And at the time, their twins were around 2 years old, maybe a little younger. So Louis and Serene were sleeping on couches in the living room. And Louis had one of the twins right next to him. And Serene had the other twin. And they both stood up in the middle of the night, the twins.
No.
And started pointing at one of the walls.
No.
And giggling and calling their uncle's name and just giggling and giggling. And Serene's like, Louis, look over and see what the kids are looking at. And Louis is like, oh, hell no, I'm not looking. So they just kind of held on tightly to the twinnies until they stopped giggling. And they all, I guess, went back to sleep. I don't think Uncle's been back, but that's a great story, and it just makes me laugh super, super hard. It's a little quickie for y'all to make things feel better, and hopefully we'll get through all this madness together. Thanks for the podcast. Love everybody. Stay safe. And again, fuck those cabrones ice.
Woo!
Thank you.
Bye. Yes. Yeah, fuck guys.
Fuck guys.
Losers. They're such losers.
What if one's listening right now, just one single tear rolling
Quit
down
your
his
job.
loser?
Figure out your shit, you loser. Oh, wow. That's kind of cute. And also, I'd be like, gross.
I mean, it's nice that it's like, Uncle whatever.
Yes.
But Uncle Betsy.
Just waking up to your twins just giggling at a wall. No.
Oh my gosh. I remember once, now that I said that, I was asking a kid, I was like, what's my name? And they go, Uncle Marcy.
Cute.
Yeah, that's Uncle Marcy.
Yeah. That's
Uncle
so
Marcy?
cute. Uncle Marcy? Gotta be.
Oh, just creeping little twinnies. Also,
Twins.
calling them twinnies.
Twinnies made me laugh really hard. The twinnies. The twinnies. Twinnies.
I mean, if we're going to get crazy with long ones, I have maybe one of our longest yet.
Whoa.
So,
I'm down.
I like to preface this by saying, you guys can go after them. That's what that was my big takeaway.
Marcy.
I think so far they've been good though. So there's no pressure on this next one that I haven't listened to because I don't.
We'll see.
Simply, I'm a bad producer, but
we'll
all
see.
Right.
Well, like any play or ballet or something, we can always leave an intermission.
That's true. All right.
We'll see.
Curtains up. How about?
Hey y'all. So hello again. It's Tawnie. I've sent in a couple of audio recordings, which is still weird. I don't really care for the sound of my own voice, but I don't know many people who do. So anyway, I'm going to be sharing a couple of little stories about maybe premonition is not the right word. I'm not really sure what you would call them. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're paranormal. Maybe more so like spiritual. Anyway, so the most recent story happened on a trip to Ontario. We were at a little city, suburb, I don't know.
I'm going to pause real quick to say car manufacturers have to start soundproofing.
Oh,
We-
right.
We shouldn't be able to hear.
But you got to hear what's going on.
Yeah, but like it's just a little too much, you know. Like I feel like I can hear people turning their radio on 5 lanes away, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I do think the sound might get better too. So
Nice.
all right.
Outside of Toronto for my aunt's celebration of life, and this is not related to that. That's just background info. And yes, I am driving, but it is hands-free, so I promise you I'm not trying to look at my phone while I'm doing this.
That's why we can hear it more too.
Anyway, don't do what I'm doing. Like, do as I do, not as I say. Is what? Anyway, do as I say, not as I do. That's the one.
Woo.
Anyway, so my mom's friend passed away. Gosh, I don't know, like early 2000s, and it must have been later, but we hadn't been to like Milton, Toronto recently. Like usually when we went to Ontario, it was Chatham, Sarnia area, which is like 2-3 hours away from Toronto. So my mom hadn't had a chance to actually see her friend's grave. So she went to the graveyard just fully expecting to be able to easily find where her friend was.
Lion.
Past a Yeti.
And her and my dad were, I don't know, just went to this section of the cemetery and could not find the grave. So my mom texted her friend's daughter, and that's how she found out that her friend didn't have an actual headstone and wasn't buried where she wanted to be. She was buried a couple of meters away and just had like a little placard. And so my dad was fed up. It's like, I don't know, 40 degrees with the humidity. So that's probably what, like 90 Fahrenheit?
Whoa.
Oh.
95 maybe? I don't know. Fucking hot. So he just went home. He's like, no, we're done. And so she wanted to do it again after the celebration of life of my auntie. So we did. We went back, and my mom was like, okay, like you have to come with us and you have to find it. And I was like, what are you talking about? Why do you think I'm going to be able to find it? She's like, I don't know. I think you're just going to be able to find it. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I was like, I'm going to get out and I'm going to walk like down the section. It's like 94, whatever that means. I feel like cemeteries are, just looking at like the little map she had, which was so small. Some of the print was like a magnifying glass. Couldn't even have made it any clearer. Just because it was on her phone and it was, you know, on a weekday. So I don't even think it would have been open to go ask somebody. But anyway, we get out and I told her, I was like, okay, like, you need to start on the opposite end and I'll start here. And my mom, of course, just wandered off to where her friend was supposed to be married. And my dad started not on the opposite side because dads. But anyway, so I was walking along, and then I realized like that 94 is not just like a single like straight path, that there's like a bunch of graves. So there's probably like, I don't know how to describe it. Like if you're looking at it, there's probably like a grave facing the one way, a grave behind that, and then a grave facing the other way. So they were like, you know, in a row or whatever.
So.
And I was just looking for the nameplate, and lo and behold, I found it. And my mom thought it was so funny. I don't know. Sometimes I think you just need an extra pair of eyes. And of course, my dad acted like he found it because, again, dads. So I went to just wander around the other graves while my... actually, no, that's not true at all. My mom wanted a picture. That's what the story is. The story is about the picture. I walked around after.
You
Sorry.
did one of these.
So my mom wanted a picture, and so she reached out to just gently put her hand, like, so that she was touching the placard. And so I took a couple of pictures, and then I gave it to her, and then that's when we walked around and saw, like, where she should have been buried. We never did find my mom's friends' in-laws. I don't even think my mom knew their last name, which would have been the same as hers. I don't know. There's like a Catholic section of the church, of the graveyard, and then a non-Catholic, I don't know. So anyway, we went back home the next morning, the hotel, not home. We went back the next morning, and my mom was telling me over breakfast that when she was looking at the photos, I don't know if it was the first picture, I took a couple just in case. She said that it looked like a shot of electricity went down her hand and onto the nameplate.
Whoa.
And when I asked her to see the picture, she said it was gone. So when she was going through the picture, she saw it. And then when she went back to look at it, it was gone. Like, it wasn't there, which kind of was crazy to me. So, I mean, I don't know if she was like hallucinating. I don't think so. I mean, maybe just because I don't think it would have been a glare in a hotel room. It's not like she was outside, you know, wandering around and like something looked like it was shining on her hand. So I don't know what that was. I like to think, and she likes to think as well, that it was her girlfriend saying like, it's okay, Marion, like, I'm good.
Aww.
Don't worry. I think my mom was really upset too, because she doesn't know when she's going to get back to Ontario again, because we live in Alberta, which is not that far away, but flights are expensive, and it's so stupid how expensive they are. So I felt really good about that for her, because I think that it gave her like a certain amount of peace. And so that's the first story. Oh, I'm parked now, and oh, thank goodness that's when I dropped my phone. Anyway, if I did, I would have just kept talking from the floor. So the second story is something that I found out from my dad. So my dad's great uncle, and my great uncle was killed in World War II in 1942 in the Battle of Ortona. And he was in a tank. Like, that was, I don't know what he did. I don't know. He was inside. I don't think he was the one that was like popping his head out. And just the thought of dying in a tank blast, that in itself is a horror story, like so horrific. And so my grandma, of course, never saw him after he left. And she's was very much the sort to, after the war, anybody on the Axis powers was the devil. Even now, like, I don't think she went out of her way to, like, avoid buying German products, but I think if she knew something was German, she probably wouldn't buy it. But she wasn't, like, accosting people in the street or anything like that. Like, I'm pretty sure she didn't eat pasta because it was Italian and, you know. Anyway, so my dad and my mom had planned this tour, and, excuse me, so they had this person that was going to take them to the gravesite, and so they were going along in, I don't know, somebody's minivan, I assume, and my dad just felt like this pressure in his chest, and it wasn't a heart attack or anything like that, and so he, I guess, got the attention of the driver and said, like, where did we just pass? And the driver told him that they just passed where my uncle and his tank crew were killed. So that was wild, and I was shocked that my dad actually told me that, because like, that's very much not what he believes in. Nothing like that. Like, he's like, was a chartered accountant, CPA, like, very logical, not at all like into anything paranormal. I don't even think he really liked scary movies. He would watch them, like, if my sister and I wanted to, but not really for his own enjoyment. And yeah, so finally there was my friend and she had two experiences with, I guess you would say, maybe like a premonition or just like getting a really bad feeling out of nowhere. The first was her dad was also in the military, and I guess when her dad was overseas, I'm not sure for where or for why, what he was doing, but he ended up like catching his hand somehow, like getting out of a vehicle, and so he had to have his finger removed. And she said that she randomly got a pain in her left ring finger one day, and then after the fact, found out what it was and why that happened, which was crazy, wild to me. Like, that was one of the first, like, I guess, like, spooky, scary stories that somebody I knew had told me. So this same friend and I were traveling through Europe, and thanks to me somehow burying my passport in the bottom of my bag, we had to stop. So I got out and had to essentially take out absolutely everything out of my little my huge backpack. So we had to get a later train or an earlier train. I don't remember what happened. Anyway, we were supposed to get somewhere like the next day, but we ended up getting there early, so they just switched the rooms around, and I was wiped. Like, we just got off of a Kon-Tiki tour. It was a gong show. Like, we probably went out drinking like 10 out of the 11 nights. The only night we didn't go out drinking was the night before we went to Auschwitz, which I have written, or I think I wrote it. Did I write it? I don't remember. I can't remember if that one was audio or not. But, yeah, so I decided that I was just going to sleep, and she decided that she was going to go tour around Koblenz, which is like this cute little town in the Black Forest in Germany. I don't know why I'm trying to say it in German. I don't speak German. I took it one class in university. Anyway, not important. So I slept probably the whole day, like from, like 8 a.m. until probably 2, 3. And I got up with like a really pressing need to use the bathroom. And so I went to go and unlock my door, and I was somehow locked into my room.
Oh.
So I only assumed that, like, the door locked from the outside. I don't know. I was ready to, like, piss my pants, so I wasn't really thinking clearly. So I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Like, am I just going to pee myself? And then I looked, and there was a sink, like a big, tall, freestanding sink. And I was like, all right, okay, well, we're going to do what we got to do. It's a miracle that I got up there to do my business, if you will.
No.
And so when I was finished, I like scrubbed out the sink. And I swear, like 5 minutes after I had, like, once I was done cleaning the sink, probably like 5 minutes later, she walked in the hotel door, the room door, and told me that she felt like she had to come back. So unfortunately, she did not save me from having to relieve myself in a sink. But yeah, so I don't know what you would call that.
Back in the car.
I probably could have gone out of the door, but I was just mortified, and I was like, well, I can't do that. Like, who's going to hear me? So yeah, if you ever go to a hostel in Koblenz, Germany, make sure the doors don't lock from the outside. And that in and of itself is probably a different story for a different day. Anyway, love the podcast, and yeah, can't wait to listen to your new episodes once summer's over. Okay, bye.
So I was thinking that it was a ghost that locked her in and making her.
Same.
Nope, just bad doors.
Just bad
the worst
doors at a hostel in Germany.
a murder hostel.
Such a classic murder hostel.
So German.
That is so
Also,
wild.
how intense that their mom would be like, I'm not even going to eat pasta. Never again. I won't have no sushi, no teriyaki, none of it. No Axis foods.
Yeah. Wild.
It's so crazy to think that people won't be eating hamburgers because of us.
Yeah.
We're the bad guys. We're the baddies.
Such the bad guys. We're such the bad guys. Taco Bell. Oh.
Is that yeah, that's American, huh? Taco Bell? It is kind of, yeah. It's the most American food we have is Taco Bell. But yeah, the like having their dad having that feeling as they drove by.
Yeah. Finding the grave immediately, like, whoa.
Yeah. Spooky.
It's so fascinating. I'm just like, what is it? What is that?
What is this? What is this?
What is this? What is this? And kind of maybe like I'm thinking about the dad specifically, but I think it works with a lot of these these stories of just like you are in this specific place for a specific reason. So does that kind of open you up to more of a premonition-y thing or, you know, of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. Also, be safe. Be safe when you're doing these stories, guys.
Be safe.
Be safe.
Be safe.
I think we're gonna go with another long one, not quite as long, but we'll do it in the interest of our longies here.
Let's do it.
Right? No.
Yes.
Hi, Betsy. Hi, Marcy. I just want to say first that I love you guys. Love the podcast. Really the highlight of my week every week. I'm always looking forward to being able to listen to your newest episode. I've got a bunch of stories for you. I'm only going to tell 3 this time, and hopefully another time I'll be able to send some more in. The first one didn't happen to me. It happened to my mom. And over 40 years ago. I was like an infant at the time. But anyways, my parents were renting a house from my grandfather. He had like a complex that he rented out, and they were renting. And my mom was always really kind of creeped out by their house that they were in. She like never felt really easy in it by herself. And so like she would try to like always go out and do stuff with me and my older sister. Whenever dad wasn't home, like she would do whatever she could to like not be in the house. And she would tell my father all the time, like, I'm always hearing footsteps, like I've seen the door open or the door's been left open when I know I've locked it. And like my dad at the time was not a believer. He is now, but he was not a believer at the time. And would just like kind of like push my mom off with it, like kind of being like, oh, it's postpartum, like you're overtired, there's a newborn baby at home, you've got a toddler, like, you know, like that stupid stuff. And my mom would be like, no, like I know for a fact I'm seeing this, I'm hearing this. So anyways, she would go out and not be home if dad wasn't home. So there was one time she went out, locked the front door, went out the back door, locked that door, and took us, I don't know, playground or something. I don't know where she took us, and she got home, she parked in the front and walked around the back like she always does or did, and would let herself in the back door. Except this time when she got home, she parked the car and she saw that the front door was open. And so she got freaked out and took us kids to the next door neighbor. And used their phone, because it was before she had a cell phone, to call our father. And was like, I'm not going in there. The front door's open. I know I locked it. Can you call your dad and like see if he stopped over to like do maintenance or something? And so my dad got home and was like, no, I talked to my dad. He wasn't there. He's like, did you call the police? And she was like, no, I was waiting for you. So my dad was like, well, I'll just go check first. And so he goes and lets himself in the front, and the back door's open too. And nothing's missing. Nobody's in the house. He comes back out to my mom and is like, are you sure you shut the doors? Like both doors are open. And she's like, why would I just leave with the kids and not lock the house?
Yeah.
Or shut the door.
Anyways, that weekend she went away to see her mom with us kids, and my dad was home in the house by himself. And needless to say that my father became a believer that weekend because he was hearing the footsteps. He was having the doors open on him. He went out to do a call for work, came back. The house doors were wide open. So he was like, okay.
In your face. In your face.
This is insane. This is crazy. And he called his father and was like, what's up with this house that we're renting from you? And he proceeds to tell him what happened to my mom. And then before my grandfather can start with the whole, well, she just had a baby and post all that nonsense, my dad goes, no, it happened to me too. And my grandfather was like, well, the previous owner might have himself in the house. And so after that, my parents were like, yeah, we're moving out. We're not living here. Enough's enough. So that was story one of the creepy house that they rented from my grandfather. And story two happened recently. It was me and some of my friends. We had gone away and we had gotten an Airbnb, old farmhouse. Ooh. And we got there. We were like settling in. We were each like in our rooms. And I was sitting on the bed in my room, and I was just kind of like unpacking and going through my toiletry and getting ready because we were going to be going to dinner. And one of my friends came in, and for the purpose of the story, I'm just going to call her Lisa, even though that's not her name. So Lisa comes in and she's like, oh, you know, what are you thinking? Like, this is what we're thinking for dinner. I don't even remember what we had for dinner, but whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And I'm like going through my bag and I'm not really looking at her. And she's like, oh, hey, are those Tums? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I look up at her and she's like, can I have some? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I go to hand her the Tums, which I swear was like literally just in my hand. And suddenly they're not there. And I'm like, what? And I'm like going through my toiletry bag. I'm like, where are the Tums? And she's like, you just had them. Like, I just saw them. I'm like, I know you saw them. Like, I just had them. And like, so we're going through the bag and like, we turn it over and we dump it out. And then like our two other friends come in the room to see like what's taking so long. And Lisa proceeds to tell him like, Kitty had Tums. Now they're gone. Like she literally just had them. And like, we dumped her bag. We can't find them. And they're like, that's so weird. And I was like, maybe I didn't have them. And she's like, no, I saw them. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I was like, all right, well, let's just finish up. Like, let's get to dinner. And so I go downstairs while they're all getting their stuff. And I walk into the hallway and there's like this little table stand. And I look at it and I'm like, are you kidding me? And I yell, like, what the hell? And so like my friends come running down the steps and they're like, what's going on? What's going on? And I point to the table, and on this little table stand are the Tums. And I'm like, were they there the whole time? And we're just like, and all of them are like, no, no, no. And our other friend Holly's like, hold on, again, not her name, is like, hold on, I made a video when we came in because the place was so cute and I wanted to show my mom. And so she pulls the video up and we're watching the video and there's no Tums on the stand. So somehow in the course of us sitting in my room and them being in my hand, they suddenly were downstairs. So I don't know, maybe there was like an afterlife indigestion moment for a ghost in this house. It was so weird.
Wow.
Cannot explain it. And my friend, one of my other friends had something go on with like a pillow getting thrown at her while we were there too. But that's kind of like her story to tell, so I'm not going to get into that.
Wow.
And then the last story I'm going to tell right now happened when I was little, but I didn't learn about it until like a couple of years ago. And I vaguely remember some of it, but not all of it. So it started, like I said, a couple of years ago. I was at my parents' house and I was visiting them. And I had been, I don't know, inside. And I went outside to join my mom and my older sister. And as I'm walking outside, my older sister says to my mom, do you think she remembers? And she said my name. And I was like, remember what? And Rebecca was like, the visit you had when you were little. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And my mom was like, well, when you were little, we had a moment. And I'm like, okay, just spill it. So she proceeds to tell me this story. And this is the part I do remember after she tells me the story. Our house was like a cape and we had bedrooms like upstairs, but then we had a couple of bedrooms on the first floor, one of which was mine. And it was like directly across from the kitchen. So like you could see my bedroom from the kitchen and vice versa. And I was about 5 at the time, 4 or 5, and I was playing in my bedroom and it was like dinner time and my mother was in the kitchen making dinner. And so I was in there playing and I suddenly felt like a tap on my shoulder. And I was like, what was that? Like, and so then I looked and I thought, well, maybe mom tapped me on the shoulder. So I called out to my mother and I was like, Mommy, what do you want? Like, what's going on? And she was like, I'm in the kitchen, sweetie. I'm making dinner. What? And I was like, oh, did you tap me on the shoulder? And she was like, no, I'm in the kitchen making dinner. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I went back to playing. And then I felt the tapping again. Whoa. And I was like, Mommy, this isn't funny.
Yeah.
Like, stop tapping me. And she once again was like, sweetie, I didn't tap you. Like, I'm in the kitchen making dinner. And I was just like, what? And so then the next part I don't remember, but like I distinctly remember that. So anyways, they go on to tell me that we go to sit down for dinner and my dad had gotten home and he'd sat down with us and we're talking about the day. And my dad had said to me, oh, how was your day, sweetie? And I looked my dad deadpan in the face and was like, your grandmother died. I'm sorry, but she's okay now. And my parents like went white, looked at each other like, did you tell them? I didn't tell them. Like, go on, like who, like, did you say something? Did they?
What?
So come to find out that my great grandmother, his grandmother, had passed away that morning. And so basically the tapping on the shoulder was my great grandmother coming to tell me that she had passed. And that she was okay and that she loved us and she was saying goodbye.
Wow.
My parents hadn't told us yet. So to this day, my dad's like, that creeps me out. He's like, he's like, I know you've had other little things happen to you and you've like predicted when babies were being born and stuff. He's like, but that one by far, he's like, you were such a creepy kid. But anyways, that's it for now. I will write in again at another point with some other stories. But yeah. All right. Bye.
Wow.
Those were all three of those were really good stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Tums.
The Tums where and then like, Mommy, oh sorry about your mom.
Wild.
But I could not stop myself from being like, of course, your grandfather was going to be like, well, women. Oh, a man. It happened to a man.
I know. Well, it's funny of like the idea of like the mom leaving the house and taking the kids is so the opposite of a horror movie.
Yes.
Because usually the dads are like, well, I got to go drive for 7 days without talking to you. I know you've been complaining. It's such a fun swap of like, we're out of here. Something better happened to you.
It is really funny. Like, if you think about the movie Scream, it's like Sydney's dad's her primary caregiver, right? He's her only parent. So he's there until all of a sudden murders are happening. He's like, gotta go out of town. It's like, you're going out of town now?
A Scary Movie does it great of they like pretty much make her dad like a crazy drug dealer who's like wanted. So he's like, I gotta get out of town. It's really funny because that is such a like, especially after like with Scream, like her mom was murdered.
I mean,
your wife was murdered.
Brutally too.
And
not
you're
even
gonna
just like
bail? Come on, sir.
Crazy. But those were really good stories, though.
Yeah.
Also, two of them are kind of centered around mom too.
Right.
So there might be a little connection there.
Little connection. Yeah.
Oh my God. These are good.
This is fun.
I love when our listeners pull through for us. I complain about length and then they were fine. They were great. They were better than fine. They were fabulous. So guys, send us your
Keep
stories.
Coming.
Please to funnyfeelingpod@gmail.com. Don't drive and do it.
Be safe. Be safe.
Be safe is what we're saying. Be safe.
We trust you. Be safe.
We trust your. I'm not going to trust everyone's judgment, but for a lot of you, I'm going to trust your judgment.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, keep them coming, guys. And hey, we're halfway there.
Ooh, it's almost Halloween, everyone.
And please go watch the animated series Kevin on Amazon. It's a good reason to go on over to Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That and like Jury Duty and Company Retreat, right? Yeah, all of those
right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for listening to A Funny Feeling.
If you have a paranormal experience that you would like to share, please send us a voice memo, or you can email us just a letter at funnyfeelingpod@gmail.com. I'm Marcy.
I'm Betsy. And don't shit your pants.